Christmas time is the most exciting time of the year. Things are happening everywhere with people. There's joy, there's snow, maybe. Who knows? But there's the tree, there's the family, there's the gifts, there's the toys. And if you're a 6-year-old, you know what that means. But once, I was given a toy that represented the true gift of Christmas. I want to tell you about that. As a 6-year-old, you know, the season comes and you see the people showing the trees in the lots. You see the people getting ready to decorate their houses. You know that it's an exciting time, and you know there's a big payoff coming too, because you know the true meaning of Christmas. And then there's the wrapping of the presents. My specialty was wrapping the gag gift. My sister was a typewriter person, so I gave her a typewriter ribbon inside of a metal can. She'd shake it and say, "What is it?" And I would say, "Well, I'm not telling." One year, I even gave my wife 2 pairs of scissors that were stuck together like this. They look like a butterfly. She agonized over this. "What on earth is this you gave me?" "Oh, you'll find out," I said. Well, that's only a small part of Christmas. When you get together and you share the gift giving and the love that goes along and the meaning of the season, what the gifts really represent, something changes. But for a 6-year-old, you got to be kidding me. Where are the gifts? This year I have to give them out again? That seems like some kind of deal to keep me from getting into trouble and opening gifts I shouldn't be opening right now. There's a method to this holiday season, as it turns out. Well, that went along quite well, and I was handing out gifts to all of the relatives and the sisters and all of those people like that, and that's when I began to notice that my gifts were coming to me too. There was a truck, a big toy truck. There was a bulldozer that operated with a battery and had lights and motors inside. And then there was the brown box with the name of Lionel. Now, if you happen to know what that means, that's a kid's dream. That's the big Schwinn bike in the small brown box. But there was one more gift. It was a small gift. It came from my mother. It was a game. I opened it up, as normally you'd tear all this stuff off. People were gathering up the papers to save, but me, I was more interested in getting to the game. It was a game called Tiddlywinks. Tiddlywinks. You take little plastic coins and you pop them and they jump up and they go into a cup. And I looked at that and I said, "Oh my God, this is so lame." And so this kind of game got kind of shoved aside in favor of the brown box with Lionel on it. After Christmas, that little box disappeared. And I gave it no thought. Many, many years later, as a parent myself, I noticed that sometimes the kids played with the box and forget about the toy inside. Sometimes they're more interested in the wrapping paper. It isn't exactly what is the gift, but it's how they received it and what they think about it, how they feel about it. I actually bought some gifts one time in North Carolina. They were pioneer gifts, little strings with little things that went around. You pulled it back and forth, and it did all kinds of tricks. The kids have played with it forever. And expensive gifts kind of just sat. But that's not the point of this presentation. Because while everyone enjoys gifts the way they expect to get what they want, and whether they're good about it or not, Christmas is a time of giving and receiving, and sometimes the gift comes in a different way. Many years later, after my mother had passed, we were in the house, the old house, cleaning up things, and up on a top shelf in a closet, I found a box. It was the Tiddlywinks game. Still new, still fresh. A little dusty maybe, but certainly less for wear. Point being is, I looked at this, I opened it up, and I realized this was a simple game that came from my mother's past, when they didn't have things like the neat toys we had today, or at least at that time, when they had to make do, when the lights on the tree were candles, and the grandmother walked around with a wet rag to make sure there was no fire. Fires were constant during Christmas. It was something from her past she was passing on to me. And as a 6-year-old, I wasn't wise enough to realize what this was. I played the game, and it wasn't easy to do. But I realized that There was much more going on here than even I had thought about. And I thought back to my mother. And while I was thinking, I realized she had given me a gift way past any expectation, and certainly at a 6-year-old. And this was the same kind of gift that I had the responsibility to give to my children as they grew up. I consider this to be a true gift of Christmas.